Welcome back to the FantasyFlo Podcast. This is football today. We are covering studs and what just recent. Yeah, pause for real. And we're also going over this new recent running back news. Obviously, Ezekiel, Elliot, and Dalvin Cook found homes. So we're gonna get into that shortly. All right. First things first. We can jump into the studs. Pause. And
stud players.
Let's get the studs started.
And
not the studs y'all think we're talking about. Nope.
Fantasy studs.
Football. All this is football related.
I'm gonna do one, and then y'all go do one.
All right, I go second. Curry go three.
Yeah.
Okay.
That works. Yeah. All right. So I got Arizona Cardinals, right?
Mm-hmm.
One fantasy player that enough people aren't talking about on Arizona for me is Marquise Brown. A lot of people, I guess, the common sense one is James Conner.
Yep.
That's what you might want to take on. If you're taking anybody from Arizona, you may want to take the running back. He's going to get the work. But I think that Marquise Brown is going to be able to get volume. Last year, he went for 107 targets, 67 receptions, 709 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He had one game of 100-plus yards.
Mm-hmm.
I think that he's going to be a number one receiver. I think he'll get the volume to be good.
And we've seen him do it before, so it shouldn't be an issue.
And there's no DeAndre.
Yes.
No DeAndre, so yeah.
Do we even have a tight end that can compete with him?
Zach Ertz is actually healthy.
That's right.
He just came back off of injury, so I think he's healthy now.
Okay, fair enough. For my first one, I got with Buffalo, James Cook.
Okay.
Josh Allen's a lock. Gabe Davis, Stephon Diggs locks. You know they're going to do what they got to do.
Mm-hmm.
But that Singletary's out. James Cook, he had 16 games played, but he had 507 yards rushing and 180 yards receiving. He didn't get as much touches as he should have, but this year they already say he's going to increase his workload, so I expect him to have RB1 upside compared to
Who was
previous.
their running back last year again? Was it Singletary?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Singletary.
it was Singletary.
Yeah.
All right.
And then now they have Damon Harris there, but I still see he already
He's
knows
just
the
a goal line more
offense, so it should be straight.
Yeah, and they're going to throw to Dalvin. Not Dalvin, James.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So I don't got my phone, I got my book.
Boy, that's how you know you're a caveman, right?
It's the special book.
The Death Note.
This is how you know it's serious. So I got Kansas City Chiefs running back Isaiah Pacheco. That's going to be my stud.
All right.
For several reasons. One, they were talking about him a lot in the preseason last year. Then during the season, he did pretty well. Started to show out in the playoffs.
Yep.
And now they're talking about him again this preseason. So I think that he's going to continue to expand on that. Last year, he had a total of 135 fantasy points. He had about 830 yards. He had 4.9 yards per attempt and 5 touchdowns. Okay. So that's pretty good. Going into his second year, he'll probably build on that.
I see it.
I was a little scared when I keep seeing him in my mocks, but hearing that kind of makes me think maybe I could take the chance on him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I feel that.
I believe in Pacheco. He's going to be one of my keepers. So
that's what's up.
Fair enough.
All right. My next team, I got Atlanta Falcons. Everybody had the hype over Kyle Pitts last year. I'm not going to tell you it's Kyle Pitts. It's not him. It's also not Bijan because I think he's the no-brainer.
He's locked in.
But I think that Drake London is in store for a good wide receiver one season.
That's a good one.
I think Drake London is being talked about, but he's not being super talked about. Last year, he got 117 targets. He made 72 of them. 866 yards. He wasn't far from 1,000 with Marcus Mariota for the most part, and then Ritter came at the end. He had 4 touchdowns in one game of 100-plus yards. I think Ritter's going to throw the ball more, and I think Bijan's going to open up their offense.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that Drake London is going to get the volume, especially because we just got that information today that what's his name? No, that was he's on the Bucks. He used to be on the Falcons. What's his name?
Which one? Running back?
No, he was a receiver. Russell Gage.
Oh, Russell Gage.
I'm tripping.
He just got hurt. Yeah,
but he's on the Bucks. But my bad. But anyways, I think that Drake London has a clear-cut number one spot. Nobody can contest for him, and I think that Ritter will be able to pass him the ball and get him to even be better than last year.
I agree. I see it. I had the Bengals next. Chase Brown, running back. Right now, he's listed as RB3 with possible RB2 upside. He's P. Ryan's gone,
Okay.
So he's going to get more workload. He has potential, as I said, as RB2. He actually has the most missed tackles in NCAA last year behind Bijan. So that's something to look forward to when the Bengals are not known for running the ball because they can't get the ball that past 1.5 yards at the contact. Joe Mixon only had 1.5 yards at the contact, and that's his lowest of his career. So something to look forward to. I think if Joe Mixon his trajectory keeps declining, and he's known to get hurt, it opens the door for Chase Brown, sleeper.
Yeah, I mean, and that also depends on, what year is he going into now?
Joe Mixon?
Joe?
Yeah, Joe Mixon.
He's been in the league for a little bit. I want to say like maybe year 8, maybe something
year
like
8?
That. It sounds about that.
Yeah.
I don't know 100% sure, but it sounds
with
about
probably like 3 years of injuries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I could see that then, yeah. Because, every running back, they got their time clock,
Unfortunately.
At that position, especially.
So my second stud, is Chicago Bears, Khalil Herbert.
Herbert.
That's good.
Khalil Herbert, he's another one. They talked highly of him into the preseason. During the season, he did his thing. David Montgomery was still there.
Yes.
So it kind of had a little bit to do with his production. But we saw that he's a good pass catching back. So his numbers last season, he had a total of 117.9 average fantasy points. He had 732 yards rushing. That was about 5.7 yards per attempt. And he had 4 touchdowns. His receiving stats were also average 12 targets. He had 9 receptions. He had about 57 receiving yards, 6.3 yards per reception. So,
and he was doing that good when David Montgomery went out, and that was just mostly running because that doesn't sound like a lot of receptions.
It's not a lot of receptions.
Not at all.
But now that David Montgomery is gone, they're going to be able to build more on those receptions.
Well, did y'all tune into or see at least the highlights of Justin Fields in that preseason game?
Yeah, he had what, a
3
60
passes, and one of them went to DJ Moore, and
It
one
was
of
a
them
deep
went,
pass for like 60.
No, none of them were deep.
No,
None of
all of
them-
them were short. DJ Moore was short.
They
It was
were
like
all.
5 yards.
It was a dump off to Herbert, and he had like a 54-yard touchdown, I think.
I saw, it was like 54 or 60-some yard pass or something like that.
I think 62 yards. No, I'm lying. It was a 90-something yard.
It was a
90-something yard for DJ Moore. It was a screen.
Mm-hmm.
He ran a screen and took it to the house. He
Yeah.
threw 3 passes in that whole preseason, and I think he threw for 129 yards, 2 touchdowns on 3 attempts.
Yeah, With Justin Fields, that's all you need to do. Okay?
That's why every time Will is like top 5, I stay quiet because I don't know, man. Preseason saying otherwise. He got weapons now too.
Fantasy wise, especially.
It's a vanilla defense, but I do like the production that you did see.
Yes, agreed.
Also, what I was going to say to your point with Khalil Herbert, they have Rashawn Johnson or Williams or something like that. I can't remember. It's a rookie running back.
Mm-hmm.
And they also have Dante Foreman.
Deontay
Foreman.
Foreman.
So I think we don't know for sure, but based off of that preseason, it looks like Herbert is the guy. But
Herbert is definitely the one.
If you do get Herbert, you just got to keep in mind that there is possibilities that one day maybe Foreman may get a little bit more love one day.
Yeah, it's possible.
It's all possible.
I think Foreman will have a couple games. I don't know if he'll ever take over.
I don't think he'll take over because I think Khalil Herbert is talented.
Yeah,
he really is. All right, so my next team, I got the Carolina Panthers. It was really hard to select a player
from that team.
I
know.
I wanted to go DJ Chark, but I feel like he did enough last year for you to be like, if you're picking somebody from Carolina, you probably pick him up. I wanted to go Bryce Young, but I think he's gonna do good this year. I think he could do a Baker Mayfield kind of thing, but what I went with was Jonathan Mingo. He played in the slot in college, and I think he can play in the slot with Thielen and Chark. And he depends on Terrace Marshall, but I think he could beat out Terrace Marshall. One thing I realized is that when you're getting young quarterbacks, the team likes to go pair them up with a good receiver that they think that would be good for them.
That's definitely the thing they're doing right now.
And I think Jonathan Mingo can do that, and he can be a safety net in the middle of the field for them. But he got 4.4 speed. And he's going at 166 in the draft, which is pretty much the end of the draft, somewhere in the end of the draft. You can get him pretty cheap, but I think it's a possibility that he can at least do better than his ADP.
I kind of hope he does do good because the fantasy names and nicknames gonna go crazy.
Mingo,
Yeah,
Mingo,
Mingo, all that
Mingo
stuff.
Mania,
Mingo is something.
Mania.
Something gonna be crazy.
Go crazy, man. Broncos, Jerry Jeudy. Last year he had 100 targets, 67 receptions, 972 receiving yards, 6 touchdowns, in 3 games at 100 plus yards.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Now we got Cortland Sutton.
He was the guy last year.
He was the guy last year, but he did have a down year compared to being what he's supposed to be.
I agree.
Yeah, because the year before that, he did way better.
Yeah. In the 10 games that Jeudy and Sutton played together, Jeudy had more targets than him, and that was 75 to 71. Jeudy was ranked 20th wide receiver, and Sutton was ranked 44th as they played together. So with Sean Payton there, he's going to throwing the ball. So I think Jerry Jeudy could take over as wide receiver 1 if Sutton has a bad year.
I would tell you this, I remember having Jerry Jeudy last year in the auction league, and he just really, there was times in the beginning where it was hard to trust him.
Yeah.
But then he really came through and just, balled out for you, bro. At the end of the season, he was giving you these big explosion games, bro. And I was just, happy because, I was waiting for it, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I would say, in regards to both of them, Sutton and Jeudy, I think that Sutton, now that he's being devalued a little bit more in fantasy, he could be a sleeper pick that you get in later parts of the draft, and he could end up we already said we feel like Russ might have a better year. If he has a better year with Sean Payton, and then Jerry Jeudy is the the receptions guy, and then Sutton is the chunk yards guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It can even out.
It could be a great dual threat receiving core.
Yeah.
100%. You got Curry.
All right, so we going to go Cleveland Browns.
Ooh.
Cleveland Browns, the stud that I have, Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Okay.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
I liked Donovan Peoples-Jones last season. I was looking in the waiver wire in Casper's league because I didn't really have a wide receiver. I was struggling, but I was looking for him. And he was one that stood out. Peoples-Jones was doing some good things. And I think with Deshaun under the helm, it's just going to elevate his playing ability. And I think this season is going to be pretty good for him. I'm pretty high on him. He had 161 fantasy points last season, 96 targets, 61 receptions, 839 receiving yards, 3 touchdowns, and 13.8 yards per reception. Now, the touchdowns obviously were low, but the targets, the receptions that he had in the PPR league, that's very important.
The yards per reception is crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
that's a point every catch. That's 2 points, 2.3 points every catch.
Exactly.
Much, yeah.
So it's a no-brainer for me. Out of everybody on that team, he's the guy that I'm thinking of because, Amari Cooper is already up there in age. He's been in the league for a while. Things are just only going to decline further and further the more seasons he plays. And then,
they fear Chubb, so
Chubb.
they're going to be thinking of him the most.
I think more coming there helps that receiving core and Chubb and Watson.
Yeah.
To believe it or not, I'm upgrading the Browns a lot. I know a lot of people are down on Watson. My personal take on Watson is, and I can't defend it. So I can't really truly defend it, but this is just my personal take. Is I feel like he got to prove to me that he's trash now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a top 5 quarterback in fantasy before. He got to prove to me that he's not now.
With the Texans.
With
the
a bad
Texans,
team.
and I think this team is better. So to me,
It
you got to prove to me.
Yeah, it's
that
definitely a better team.
You got to prove to me
Yeah.
that you that bad now.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
This is the year to do it, pretty much.
Yeah, it is. I mean, he got his money regardless, but it is
Yeah.
the year to show that he can do it this year.
Definitely.
And I've heard some good things out of camp already, so good to hear that. It's me.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I got Dallas Cowboys next.
How about them Cowboys?
It's a very talented team.
Yes.
Very talented team. Their new addition, Brandon Cooks, is what stands out to me.
Speed,
We spoke on it before. He's had four 1,000 yard seasons before, and basically last year was like an aberration because he didn't play the rest of the season after maybe week 13. He wanted to get traded, and they didn't trade him, and they just shut him down after that. But his yards was 93. I mean, not yards, but 93 targets, 57 receptions, 699 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 game of 100+ yards. But now he's the number 2 receiver in Dallas that's going to throw on a a grand scale, because the one thing that Zeke couldn't do that Pollard does is catch as good as Pollard, and I can just see them airing it out all day.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that you have Pollard as a threat, CeeDee Lamb as a threat, Gallup as a threat, Brandon Cooks as a threat. I think they like their tight end. Maybe he becomes a threat too. But they have a really good team, and I think Brandon Cooks can actually get to 1,000 yards as well. I think he elevates Dak's game enough that maybe they could actually make a better run into the playoffs this year, hopefully.
Yeah, I think he could fill that like Tyler Lockett role compared to DK Metcalf with the deep passes, running and gunning, slants, posts, all that stuff. Yeah,
exactly.
He opened
100%.
the field up.
That's probably why they got Dak so high.
True.
These
you got weapons.
Yeah.
Plenty of weapons. I got the Lions next. Jeremy Gibbs. I'm saying that right because it's spelled differently. John Marie Gibbs, a running back. Jameer Gibbs.
Yeah,
okay.
He's real good.
He ran a 4.36, making him the second of all the backs in terms of speed. And they say he's the safest rookie to draft behind Bijan because he's going into a team that just lost two of their starter running backs. The Lions. He's behind David Montgomery, but
I don't think he's gonna. Well, yeah.
He's behind David Montgomery, but he's a dual threat. He can catch, he can run, and if Swift can do it, I think he can too.
Did you see his highlights out of preseason already, or training camp at least? He's been killing these linebackers.
Yes, he got speed.
Can't keep up with him.
He got speed.
They cannot keep up with
and
him.
what's the one thing you can't teach? Speed.
Yeah.
100%.
I
I think it's good. I think it's a good. That's a good one for real.
Who you got?
So my fourth is the Green Bay Packers. I have Christian Watson. Christian Watson is another example in Casper's league. I was hurting for wide receivers. Went to the waiver wire, got Christian Watson, and he was doing his thing for me. Last season, he had 164 fantasy points, 65 targets, 41 receptions, 611 receiving yards, 7 receiving touchdowns, and he had 14.9 yards per reception. So knowing that I don't even think he started every game during the season.
No, he didn't.
He started to play a little bit more towards the end of the season, that's what helped me get to the playoff run.
Yeah.
But Christian Watson, definitely he's on my radar. He's the number one, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think there's anybody else above him. Yeah, you got Romeo Dobbs.
He's only one.
I don't know who number one is to say that.
Yeah.
So just to start,
they might not know.
I don't think they know, but I've been hearing a lot more about Romeo Dobbs as of right now. But I think maybe Christian Watson's just doing regular Christian Watson things, and they're just talking about Romeo Dobbs because he kind of was the hype last year.
Yeah, I remember.
And then he fell off.
Yeah.
And then Christian Watson came on and started doing his thing. I'm just letting y'all know I'm glad to have him as my keeper. Beautiful thing to be picking up in the 14th round.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
That's boy. He's a beautiful keeper right there. But he's a good pick.
Yeah. I like Watson.
This one is my favorite. For the Houston Texans. Yes. So I know it's been a little bit, and I kind of realized what they did after draft day, and I heard some of the story, but then I kind of watched a clip of something recently, and it kind of gave more background to it. But Tank Dell for Houston, preseason game the other day.
He snapped.
Yeah, he had 5 catches for 65 yards, a touchdown, an acrobatic touchdown at that.
Tough catches. Yeah.
He didn't catch it, and then it was up in the air, and then he caught it, stayed in bounds, all kind of things. Great things I can expect from him. Yep. The story behind it really quick is that basically C.J. Stroud was drafted. As soon as he got drafted, he told the Texans, yo, I want Tank Dell. And they formed a relationship during the combine. He's like, yo, I like how you run your routes. I like how you play football. I think you're really good. And he wanted Tank Dell as his receiver. I think for you to see Tank Dell do what he did in that first preseason game, and then, he's going to be C.J. Stroud's guy to grow with, I think it's going to be good. But what he did in college, let me just give y'all this. He had 107 targets in college. He had 1,398 yards. He led the nation. He basically, the Texans traded up to the 3rd round to go get him after C.J. Stroud asked for him.
Yeah.
And you saw what he actually had 17 touchdowns in college and 32 throughout his career. I think those are all impressive numbers. He's not like the huge, a big receiver, but he's good, and I think that a young team, they can really snap with that.
Yeah, they're gonna need a receiver to stand out because they got Dameon Pierce locked in, so he can't do it all himself.
Mechie's gonna be somebody to look out too, but I like Tank Dell a lot.
That's pretty good too that you put that that conversation, that connection that they had at the you said it was the combine. Yeah, that's that kind of puts things into perspective a little bit.
Yeah, because for him to go ask to be drafted, they had that conversation to combine. It's real.
Yeah, that's something special.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to see what kind of like relationship they have on the field. So
yeah, I got the Saints.
Oh, that's your
maybe this might be obvious, but Chris Olave.
Yeah,
it is obvious, but not.
He's to me, he's a tier 3 receiver. I've put him in that category with Waddle and them boys.
That's tier 3.
I think this is technically tier 3. Yeah, when it comes to fantasy. Yes.
Oh, you talking about the draft tiers?
Yes,
yeah,
draft
really?
tiers.
What's
yes.
the tier 2? That's really I'm trying to get at. I just don't know what tier 2 is.
They have Amon at tier 3. Amon St. Brown at tier 3 right now. Yeah.
I'll pull it up because I think I have I got access to that.
Okay.
Olave as a rookie, 119 targets, 72 receptions, 1,042 yards, but only 4 touchdowns. Listen, Derek Carr was throwing the ball. What is it, 180 times to Devontae Adams.
Devontae 8.
With 14 touchdowns. So Derek Carr is going to be throwing the ball. And I don't care if Michael Thomas is there or not.
Give me, I got 2 more.
Because I don't even know this man going to play still. I don't care how much he practiced. But Olave is going to eat with Derek Carr quarterback.
I agree. That's somebody that if you're looking in the second round for wide receiver value, that's one person you should really be taking. Because after the great receivers are taken, I feel like that's why I said I was wondering if he was really tier 3. Because I'm like,
he is.
Unless tier 1 is like 1-2 people, and then tier 2 is
3 to 4. It's not many, but
okay, that would make more sense.
If you go running back heavy first, Chris Olave for sure. Gotta be there.
Okay.
So my last one is going to be. Now this one was a tough one. I was sitting down doing the research, and I was just like, man, I don't know who to go with this team. I really don't. But I ended up choosing Michael Pittman as my stud.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of an obvious one, but at the same time, it's very hard to figure out who else besides him will be a stud. I mean, I'm not going to say Jonathan Taylor. We don't even know what's going on with him right now.
Did you hear what just happened with him recently?
Yeah, that he left the he was personal. Excused. Yeah, he was excused for some personal reason. It wasn't going to be Alex Pierce either because I haven't seen enough from him.
Fair enough.
But yeah, Michael Pittman, 216.5 fantasy points last season, 141 targets, 99 receptions, 925 receiving yards, 4 receiving touchdowns, and 9.3 yards per reception. So when you put in perspective the fact that we didn't have, well, I can't say we, that ain't my team, but with no real solid quarterback, a declining Matt Ryan, and then they tried to start Sam Ellinger a week or two, and that just didn't do any better. And for him to do that with those issues, all he's missing is a solid quarterback, and the rest is history. Now I did see an update today that said that he tweaked his ankle, but sound like something's small. Other than that, I think Pittman is going to have a better year. Hopefully he can break 1,000 yards. The targets are definitely there, so I mean, we're talking PPR here.
Yeah, I like that a lot. It's an obvious one, but maybe not so obvious too. I do like the prospect of Anthony Richardson. I just don't know what you're gonna get. But at the same time, I think the prospect is really good. He can bomb. He can run himself. I think that opens up the offense. And if they can get Jonathan Taylor back or replace him with a decent enough running back, I think things go well from there. And basically, I think Pittman can, it was a declining Matt Ryan. I think Pittman can get the ball from Anthony Richardson. It may not always be the prettiest, but I think he's going to be able to get him there. So.
Definitely. I think that with him having 99 receptions and not breaking 1,000 yards,
it's annoying.
It's kind of wild.
Yeah,
it's annoying.
So he definitely has a lot of upside.
Probably a lot of slants because they couldn't.
They couldn't go deep really.
But that's a hell of a PPR. Fantasy league.
He gave you points sometimes. Like I know Kyrie had him high last year going into the draft,
Yeah.
and he should have had that season.
Yeah,
he should have had
projected.
that season.
Yeah,
but this is why it's a good one because maybe it's this season.
Yeah,
could be.
I think it's possible. Jacksonville Jaguars. This one isn't my favorite, but I'm gonna give y'all a pivot to one player that I should think that everybody is now catching heat on, and it's obviously Calvin Ridley.
Oh yeah,
It's not that's not my player that I'm picking, but
Okay.
Calvin Ridley. This man is going to. I know not everybody's ranking him top 10. He's going to finish top 10.
All right.
Calvin Ridley. Oh hell yeah,
He's going to finish top 10.
yeah.
All right.
And
No doubt about
I was
it.
talking to Kyrie about it. Remember, I found that one website just breaking down all the stats and everything.
Mm.
I looked at Trevor Lawrence and I'm like, this man might be the GOAT.
Listen, man.
Bro.
He started off hot.
Bro, if you go back on that site
Yeah.
and just go search up Trevor Lawrence's stats last year, you're gonna be amazed.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna be like, the interception to touchdown ratio is wild because the Patrick Mahomes, the Josh Allens, the Joe Burrows, the guys that throw at a high volume, even Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert threw at a crazy volume last year.
Yeah.
And when you start talking about those guys that throw at a high volume, they hit the 14, 12, 10 picks. You know what I'm saying? Not Joe Burrow. What's his name?
Trevor.
Trevor Lawrence literally only had 8 and had just as many touchdowns almost as them.
Oh wow.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So,
Very efficient.
very efficient, bro.
Yeah.
And he went over 4,000 yards. I didn't really realize he was going off like that.
Yeah.
But I think with Calvin Ridley and Christian Kirk,
And Calvin Ridley was supposed to be top dog already anyway.
exactly.
So-
So that leads me to the next person that I'm talking about, and it's Evan Ingram. I think that he's a steal.
Yeah.
He's a steal at tight end. If you can get Evan Ingram, last year he gave you.
He was solid last
He
year.
was solid. And I'm gonna tell y'all a funny quick story. I mean, y'all know it, but just for the pod.
Yeah.
But basically, he had 98 targets, 73 receptions, 766 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 games of 100 plus yards, and he's finished the season as tight end 5, and he's going around the 6th round. He's 80. His ADP is 80.
Yeah.
He's going around the 6th round. I think it's a steal for a tight end. If you decide to wait on tight end and don't get the Travis Kelce, don't get the Mark Andrews, the Kittles, Kyle Pitts, Darren Waller, you're gonna get somebody like Evan Ingram, and it's gonna be a value for you, bro. And I think that he's gonna make a lot of people good money.
Who also lines up at a wide receiver position sometimes too.
Yeah. So the funny story I wanted to tell about that was I remember Will and Marlon had a situation. Is like, I guess Marlon had Dawson Knox or something, and I think that's when he got hurt last year at some point. And he was playing Will, and Will was like, I'm going to go into the free agency and just go scoop up all the good tight ends that I see. And he scooped them up.
Yeah.
And he didn't think about Evan Ingram because I don't think he was coming on yet. You know what I'm saying? And sure enough, Marlon picked up Evan Ingram. And he didn't even have to leave him. He kept him after that going forward because he was a good tight end.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just sometimes it takes time for people to start balling. But I think, like how we're talking about Trevor Lawrence and the offense that they have.
It just takes the right offense.
Yeah. I think it's going to look good for them boys.
Right quarterback too.
All right.
Real quick though, I want to jump into them tiers before we move on.
Yeah, please, because I need to understand it a little bit better.
So based off of this is the FantasyPoints.com tiers cheat sheet.
Okay.
Tier 1, they got Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill, and Cooper Kupp. That's
So
tier
4.
1.
4, yeah.
Okay.
Tier 2, they have Diggs, Amon-Ra St. Brown, CeeDee Lamb, A.J. Brown, Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams, and Jalen Waddle.
Okay, so
Okay. I looked at a different tier list then. Okay.
And then tier 3, they got Devontae Smith, T. Higgins, Chris Olave, Deebo Samuel, DK Metcalf, Calvin Ridley, and Jerry Jeudy.
I want to tell y'all just one quick little thing. I know this is like it's on topic, but it's not. Brandon Ayuk is going to be better than Deebo Samuel.
I am
so?
100% with you, Alex. I think Deebo is going to fall off this year.
I don't think Deebo has the receiver skills that Brandon Ayuk has. He's a pure receiver. Deebo is a great gadget receiver.
Yeah.
But I think, and he can get the rushing yards, but you have Christian McCaffrey now. He's not going to do that no more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So I just look at it. I think Brandon Ayuk went over 1,000 yards last year. And I heard Debo even say, like, yo, he has a confidence. He walks around like nobody can guard him.
Yeah.
And I like it. And I think that if it's Brock Purdy, then I think that you're looking at a strong season from Ayuk. And I would argue that I wouldn't take Debo Samuel at that high.
I hear that.
But let's jump into a little bit more pressing news that just recently happened.
Yeah.
The first domino was Ezekiel Elliott signing with the Patriots.
Boo! Trash.
Man.
Damn.
Everybody want to play for the AFC East.
What do you feel about it?
To be honest, I haven't really thought too much into it. Zeke going over there to New England. You got him, and now who else?
Is Ramondre still there?
Ramondre
Right?
Stevenson. Well, my first initial thought was I'm not going to be as high on Stevenson as I was before because some touches are going to be taken for sure.
It devalues him 100%.
And the Patriots are already known for not really prioritizing their running backs. So for me, like last season, I had Ramondre on my radar. I had him in one of my leagues, but this season, I'm not really looking at him. If he falls to me, I will get him over somebody else.
Like
but
a flex player?
yeah,
type? Okay.
but nah, I mean, and then the other thing too is Zeke. I mean, Ramondre's still gonna do his thing. Zeke been in the league for a while too. He's on the decline, so it's like, I can't really see him unless he just, I don't know.
I wonder if the Patriots offense is going to change because now they got Zeke. And a lot of people saying Mac Jones might lose his job. To
I don't know.
I don't think he's going to lose
I don't
his
know
job.
about
that.
They've been talking about it.
Lose his job to who though?
That rookie quarterback they got that was balling in the preseason. I can't think of his name.
Bailey. I don't think he's going to lose his job.
Nah.
I say give him till the year that they have to pick up his player option. If he ain't doing something by then,
Yeah, I could see that, man.
Okay.
I think this is year 3 for him now. This is year 4 for Tua. Tua was a year before him. So this is year 3 for him. And Tua came through in year 3. I mean, despite the concussions. But I would tell you my comment on Zeke. I love it.
For him or for the Patriots?
I love it for all of them.
All of
him
them?
and the Patriots.
Yeah.
Reason? It doesn't help the Patriots. Like, is Mac Jones good enough to bring him to the playoffs?
Mac Jones is a top 75 player.
In that 1 year and then never
Sir.
again. How do you be a top 75
They
player
was
and
tripping,
fall off?
man.
I don't know.
Okay,
They were tripping.
that's all I'm getting.
I don't know about that.
But
yeah, I mean, shit. Yeah, I love it too.
I
'Cause,
know
mean,
it doesn't.
It ain't doing
It
that.
doesn't move the needle.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, for Zeke, I think I saw something where they were saying that his red zone percentage is crazier than it's like he's number 4 versus Ramondre at like 23. It might not be red zone percentages, but something about their running back and just percentages. I have to go double check again, but point is that Zeke is still a more efficient runner in those situations than Ramondre. But what I would say for Ramondre is that he has the golden ticket to being able to catch, and he's probably the preferred catching back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
definitely.
So
100%,
at the end of the day, they're gonna like if the run game, if they're winning, I can see Zeke having a good game. If they're losing, which they're gonna do more than likely,
And especially in this division.
it's gonna still be Ramondre Stevenson.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's how I look at it. So I don't think they did anything. I mean, sucks for him but what I would say is that he set the market.
Yeah.
He set the market because I felt like those few running backs that haven't signed, it was the Leonard Fournettes, it was the Kareem Hunt, Ezekiel Elliott, Dalvin Cooks.
At the time, yeah.
Nobody had the market set because these teams didn't want to set the market. So Zeke signed with the Patriots for $6 million, and we here now.
That's
And
it.
shortly after that,
Yeah.
Dalvin Cook decides to sign with the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
That one kind of got me mad, but you could go on because I know you had some things about like how you felt like their usage for Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall where it's gonna go.
Yeah, my main thing was just, Brees Hall coming off an injury. Like, they obviously need depth. And they got, like, Michael Carter and Zonovan Knight, I think. Yeah. So, I mean, you throw Dalvin in there, it's just going to make it better for them because now they have somebody who's a proven running back, still capable. He can run the ball. He can catch passes. And it's just going to help them out, especially with all the additions that they have. They got Rodgers now. They got, Lazard over there. I don't really care about Cobb, man. I mean, I'm surprised Cobb's still playing.
This is the vet guy.
But,
Aaron Rodgers getting him money. That's all.
Yeah, this is boy.
But, Dalvin, I mean, for Brees Hall at least, it's a good and bad thing.
Do you think it devalues Brees Hall fantasy-wise?
Fantasy-wise, it kind of makes me think that they're going to take their time and ease Brees Hall into things. Mm-hmm. So because of that, now it's like, okay, I guess I need to go get Dalvin if he falls to me, because there ain't no easing into nothing with him. And you know how durable Dalvin is. That man, if he does get hurt, you think that he's going to be out that long?
It's win. I think it's more of a win.
When it hurts. Yeah, when he gets hurt.
Yeah.
So my take on it, right? And I when you said it the other week, I kind of pushed back on it because I felt like Brees Hall was going to be okay. But for the simple fact of you wanting to protect your young running back that can be your stud and star for the future.
Yeah. You don't want him running like how he did last season.
Not out the gate off of a fresh ACL. So I can understand if, as a person who tore his ACL, it's not good to go straight out there and go, whatever. So we have to keep in mind that the Buffalo Bills, the Jets' first 6 or 4 games, it's a crazy 4 games.
Oh, like hard schedule, you mean?
The beginning of the season is rough.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's 6 games. So I want to say the first 6 games are very scary for the Jets. It's all playoff teams. Every last one of them is playoff teams. Talking about week 1, you're going against the Bills, and then I don't remember the rest of them, but I know it was a tough schedule. Mm-hmm. And point is that
you got the Bills, Cowboys, Patriots, Chiefs. God dang. Well, minus the Patriots, but yeah.
Yeah,
it ain't easy. Then you got the Broncos, good defense. And then the Eagles. God dang.
That's rough.
That is rough, yeah.
Do you want to bring Brees Hall in that stretch? So I get it.
No.
I get it.
Yeah.
But what I was watching ESPN's Fantasy Marathon the other day, they were saying, it kind of makes sense to look at Brees Hall as a back at the end of the season guy because he's gonna be full strength. And I think that the plan more so could be bring Dalvin along for the beginning to get through that hard stretch, and then they're going to go feature Brees Hall when he's the guy, because it should be Brees Hall as the guy. Mm-hmm. But they did pay Dalvin a pretty penny. So
it could be either one, man. I can't say it's going to be Brees Hall. Right now, I can't say it's going to be Brees Hall.
I think, but like what you were talking about with them and the Bills, I think it could turn into a 1A, 1B.
Yeah.
It is reminiscent of Green Bay with Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon.
Right. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, and remember I asked y'all, do y'all think it's like an Aaron Rodgers move? And I think I heard that they said Aaron Rodgers basically freed up that cap so they can get somebody. I don't know if it was specifically Dalvin, but it ended up turning into Dalvin, and Dalvin played against him a lot. And
listen, if like I said, if Dalvin falls to me in the draft, I'm getting him straight up.
Yeah,
I'd be more confident getting him out the gate than I would Brees Hall.
So Brees Hall is looking at your face in the second round.
Look at the book.
Hey man, hold on. Let me look real quick.
Brees Hall looking at you in the second round. What do you do?
It just sucks. They got as we Dolphin fans, that they got Dalvin.
We wanted him.
But the fact that after what they did to us running wise last year, that first game, destroyed us in the running game. Yeah. Now you got 3 of them.
You got to get Brees Hall. If he there, you got to get him.
You think so?
You got to get him.
But then I'm gonna get somebody else. Definitely.
Yeah, I feel you. What I would say to your point with the Dolphins thing is I think that Dalvin lost leverage once they started seeing our chain doing what he was doing in the past game and just in practice and everything like that. I think he's a really good look.
Well, yeah, the Dolphins, they always find a way to get a running back you're not even paying attention to. Right. And then they just happen to be this all-star running back.
Jeff Wilson.
Who would have thought? Jay Ajayi.
Yeah.
I mean,
but he was nice in college.
Kenyon
but
Drake.
you would never
he
thought
was nice
that.
Kenyon Drake, another one.
Ronnie Brown.
Another one.
Ricky Williams was there too. Well, did he start off?
Rick Williams was a Heisman winner.
Ricky was different.
Ricky was supposed to do that.
We're known to have good
different.
running backs.
Yeah, we are.
But yes.
Yeah, so.
We keep like
even Reggie Bush when he came there, he was like. I remember I sent that clip the other day.
The first he was
electrifying.
He was electrifying.
He was electrifying. 100%. He just wasn't stocky enough to take all the hits, but he was when he got on the field, bro.
Elusive.
He was crazy.
Definitely.
But I mean, that wraps it all up today, y'all boys. It was real good.
Yeah.
Stud finders.
Let's see.
Stud finders.
Let's see if these studs actually become studs when we talk about it next year, man.
I'm dead. Yeah, so anyways, just make sure y'all like, subscribe, follow this page.
Yep.
Follow and subscribe to YouTube.
Yep.
Fortune's Theory, Entertainment District, Influential.
All under Influential, baby.
We gonna talk to y'all boys later.
Deuces.
Focus on what matters, nigga. Get about your feelings. We ain't tripping off for much. Busy plotting on these millions. Keep it player, that's a fact. I ain't never going back. Couple bitches, good smoke. Sip some wine, just relax. Come on. Open eyes, staying cautious. I can't lack. We ain't tripping off no bread. Hustlers make it right back. Keep it player, that's a fact. I ain't never going back. Couple bitches, good smoke. Sip some wine, just relax. Come on. Open eyes, staying cautious. I can't lack. We ain't tripping off no bread. Hustlers make it right back.